Welcome back, football fans. It is another episode of the Prediction Show. Thank you for joining me today, Tuesday, the 1st of October. And as you can see, we're going to be focusing on the Champions League today. Thanks for the comments and likes on Sunday's video. Both of the games that we checked out won. They both went exactly how we thought they would. 2.66, I think it was, the double that we put together. And I think 4 out of the 5 items from our first bet slip generator also won as well, all over even. So if you've not checked out that video, check it out if you want to see how powerful the bet slip generator is. But today we are going to be focusing on this right here. It's beautiful, isn't it? The Champions League is back. So we're going to create a couple of options for these games tonight. The first is going to be a treble based on what we think might happen after looking at some of the data. And let's be real about this. It is game week 2. It is Champions League. These teams have games on the weekend, which is something we're going to look at as well when we come to look at the fixtures, because it does matter. As we saw in the previous round with both Arsenal and Manchester City facing each other in the Premier League, they both drew 0-0. I don't know if that will be the case this game week, given who Manchester City are playing. But let's start there, shall we? Slovan, Bratislava, and many people think this could be a cricket score. The home team here lost their opening game 5-1 at Celtic. So if you look at the overall form here, this is just showing us the Champions League form. And you can see that the home team have actually played 9 games so far this season. They are from Slovakia, this team, and you can see their record unbeaten in qualifying, but then as soon as they come into the Champions League proper, 5-1 pummeling from Celtic. And we'll get on to Celtic as well, because they've got a really exciting game away at Borussia Dortmund, also at 8 p.m. For Manchester City, as I mentioned, the 0-0 at home with Inter Milan. They would have been disappointed with that, but come the end of this mini league campaign, I'm sure they will not care because they will have qualified. They have drawn 3 of the last 4 games, Man City. Now, I'm just going to touch on this game a little bit because I don't believe there's much value, and I'll just show you the odds here. If we look at the overall odds for the win, 1.06. If you look at both teams to score, can this team score against Man City? Will they have enough of the ball? I'm not too sure. 2.88 is the odds for that one, and over 2.5 goals. I think it's even lower than the win. Yeah, 1.24 for over 2.5 goals in this fixture. So we'll leave this one for now, although I might come back to it when we put a player props selection together, because I think Phil Foden will be utilised in these games, and I fancy him to regain his fitness and have a shot on target, or maybe even get a goal in this game. Goal or assist market could be very good for this one. Now, the next game we'll check out is Borussia Dortmund against Celtic, and this one could be great for goals. One thing I want to show you as well quickly, if you go to X and search for odd alerts, one thing I've been sharing at the moment is the probability model just for certain competitions. So you can see here I've been sharing the highest chance of over 8 corners for all European competitions this week, and over 1.5 goals. You can see near the top of this list is Borussia Dortmund versus Celtic, 87%. So if you want to see stuff like this throughout the week, maybe when I'm working on the site and I don't have time to put a video together, you can head over to x.com/oddalerts. And if we look at all competitions, it doesn't take a genius to see why the model landed on that percentage for over 1.5 goals. Interesting result there, away at Stuttgart, 5-1 defeat for Dortmund. Sahin, the new manager, he's tried a few different systems already this season. They did get off to a good start in the Champions League, of course, as did Celtic. I mean, they are scoring for fun at the moment. 16 goals in the last 3 games, including that 5-1 win in the first Champions League game. I think they'll do pretty well, Celtic, to be honest, in the Champions League. I think they'll relish it because they've got that extra confidence of sort of knowing that the league is done and dusted, if we're being honest, even at this stage. They are miles ahead of any other team now that Rodgers is back, especially, and that Rangers are not really pushing them as hard as they should be. Just look at their form. That's their form. It's just a sea of green. They've not lost a football match in a very long time, since last March. So Brendan Rodgers back at Celtic doing a fantastic job, and I would not bet against them qualifying in this new format. So for the first time on this video, let's jump to Bet365, and what I'm thinking for this one is BTTS. I think This will be a very open game. As we've seen with Dortmund at the minute, they can concede goals. BTTS 1.61, higher than I thought it was going to be for sure. I don't think Celtic will play with any fear in this competition this season. And that first victory, 5-1, I think there'll be more of the same. BTTS and over 2.5 goals could be an option as well. Let's have a look at what that is. Over 2 goals takes us to 1.86. Because this is a treble and we're being sensible, let's take that off. So this is the base of our treble, 1.61. Let's have a look at some other fixtures. And by the way, comment down below if you want to see a video for tomorrow's games and for Europa League games and for Thursday's games, whatever. Comment, like, share, subscribe. That is the only way I will make a video for tomorrow. If it gets 500 likes, let's go for. We missed it on Sunday, even though Sunday's video was superb and full of winners. If you want me to do a video the next day, you've got to hit the target, I'm afraid. So Arsenal PSG, then this one, I'm getting the feeling of unders. I don't know about you, not under 2.5, but under 4 goals is something that I like to do sometimes. Away at Atalanta, 0-0, but as I said at the start of the video, they were playing Man City a few days later, weren't they? So understandable that they just didn't apply themselves as much as they probably could have if they really desperately needed that win. And for PSG, it was a 1-0 victory. Narrow 1-0 victory at home to Girona. If we look at their home form, they have won the last 4 games, and in Liga 1 you expect them to win every single game. They did draw against Reims a couple of weeks ago, and they won the last game. Coming into this, of course, away from home, they have conceded in the last 5 games, so you expect Arsenal to score in this game. Will they concede? If we look at Arsenal's home form, they've conceded in the last 3 games to Leicester, Bolton and Brighton. Now, lineup dependent, of course. I do fancy Jesus to do something here, and I hope that he starts, because I do prefer watching Arsenal when Jesus starts, even when he comes on for cameos at the end. They're just much more smoother. The ball sticks to him. He's able to get it to Saka, to Martinelli. I do understand that Havertz has his role, of course. So BTTS, if we're going to go for a BTTS treble, potentially 1.7 here. The market that I was feeling the most, to be honest, is under 4 goals, which I know some people will not appreciate that, but I just think Arsenal, that kind of performance against Leicester, they're going to be a lot tighter for this one. They're going to tighten things up. I'm just wondering as well with team news, is Calafiori going to play? Is Ben White going to play? Does make a difference. You expect Saliba and Gabriel to continue. Dembele is going to be missing, I think, for PSG. Disciplinary issues with him, so I'm going to go under 4 goals. I'm going to trust my gut with this one. Let's have a look at what the probability model is saying for this one, and we can do a fixture simulation here. It would be a 1-0 Arsenal victory, which would be pretty good in terms of the double so far. So under 4 goals, 1.23. So it is actually a value bet. Sorry, under 4.5 goals, this one. Under 3.5, 1.48. So let me know what you think about that one. Let me know what you think about this game in general. What are your score predictions for Arsenal versus PSG? And the next game we're going to take a look at is Barcelona against Young Boys. So if we look at the last 25 games worth of data here, we can see that actually Young Boys, no strangers to scoring goals, although their league is a little bit different to La Liga, the quality of teams that they're playing, shall we say, and failed to score percent very, very low for Barcelona. You expect them to score and win this game, especially because they lost their opening game to Monaco. 1-1 at half-time, 2-1 full-time result. That was away at Monaco. So Barcelona, desperate to get their first win in the Champions League, especially because they also come into this on the back of a defeat where they rested players, which makes me think they are prioritising this game a little bit and will go out to win this from the off. So let's have a look at Young Boys and their form. They come into this also with a defeat, 2 defeats in the last 3 games. Lost the first game to Aston Villa 3-0. Away from home though, they're putting up some very good performances. Beat Galatasaray in recent times, 1-0. That's a very tough place to go. They scored 4 in their previous game, and then they scored 4 in the game before that as well. So as I say, no strangers to scoring goals, but it's not every week you play at the Camp Nou. Sorry, the Spotify Camp Nou. Oh, the odds are absolutely terrible for Barcelona, as you would expect. Probably should have checked that first. Both teams to score 2.05, given how Barcelona are playing at the minute. It's not the worst option. I think there's a bit of value there as a single potentially. Half-time, full-time, 1.36. It's not worth it, but let me know what you think about BTTS. It's certainly, at those odds, not worth adding it to the treble if it ruins the treble. So, yeah, we will leave this one, and we will shop around for another game. Let's do that. So from two teams that love to score goals to two teams that also love to score goals, let's take a look at the last 25 games for both of these teams. 79 goals for PSV, 77 for Sporting, and how many of them have been scored by Gyökeres? I think when we get to the player props in a minute, he will be one of the players that we put on. And I'm already formulating a bit of a treble actually in my head. Gyökeres, Foden, who was the other player that I mentioned? Gabriel Jesus, if he plays. So there's potential that it gets voided if the lineup obviously doesn't have Jesus in, but hopefully he is in there. PSV were the first team to score against Juventus this season. Juventus's defence has been fantastic, but they did succumb to PSV. They still beat PSV 3-1, as you can see here, and that was the only defeat for PSV in a long time. They've been doing very, very well as of late, and for Sporting it is pretty much the same, isn't it? They scored 3-3, 2-3, 2, 5, 6, 3. This is going to be a good game. Let's have a look at the probability model, see what the probability is for over 2.5 goals. 55%. And for BTTS, 56%. So narrowly a higher probability that both teams score rather than over 2.5 goals. So 1-1 potentially. I see Sporting winning this game, to be honest. Let's have a look at the data. It is very, very tough to call for the bookmakers. As you can see, 2.66, 2.67. Peak for Sporting is 2.7. Let's take a look at the odds. So BTTS 1.44, and that makes up the treble. I'm going to shop around, as you should as well. Usually I put this together on Bet365 because the UI is the best, and then I'll probably look on Betfair, where they give you nice boosts on everything and better odds sometimes as well. They've also got better markets on there, I've found. So what we're going to do now is look at the player props tool and also put together a treble. But as I said before, I'm sort of formulating a plan in my head based around City, based around Gyökeres, based around Jesus if he starts. I've got a feeling he will, but time will tell. So this is the player props tool. If you've not used it before, you can go to oddalerts.com and you'll see a link to use it. And we'll just scroll down here. You can see we've got some Football League action as well. Blackpool, did I see there? Blackpool at home again. I wonder if they will be leading at half-time as they were. We had Blackpool half-time, full-time on the EFL treble, didn't we, at the weekend? And they were 2-0 up at half-time and they won 3-0. So we've got Dortmund, Celtic here. We can take a look at the player prop data for that. See if we can get some shots on target. We'll look at the last 5 games and see who has been scoring. Well, we've got, let's have a look at total shots, shall we? So shots on target. We can see Kyogo with 10 in 5, Guriassi with 6 in 5, the usual suspects, to be honest. Sabitzer, 4 in 4. So Adeyemi here, 2 assists and 3 shots in his previous game, comes into this in good form. He only played 46 minutes in the defeat. The 5-1 defeat is a bit of an anomaly, that, isn't it? But it just stands out to show that they can concede goals. Adeyemi could be a good option for a shot. Expect this one to be quite open, as we saw before, and we've got BTTS on, haven't we? So Adeyemi is an option. Let's just add him and keep him around on the sidebar. So let's have a look at the player props one, and we will get on. Let's have a look at Gyökeres, and I imagine that the odds are absolutely terrible. 1.33 for a shot on target isn't the best, is it? So do we have to score or assist? We do. Gyökeres 1.83. I do fancy that, 1.83. He's so dangerous, scoring for fun at the moment. I've mentioned on this channel many times, I'm surprised that nobody picked him up. So he is top of the pile last 5 games. Let's have a look at last 20 games, shall we? Chuko Hernandez, Ronaldo, De Jong for PSV in the same game. That could be interesting. Mbappe, of course. Not sure if he's back yet as well. Gyökeres. So we've got a lot of players here that are all playing this week. Haaland, of course, but in terms of Champions League players, not too many. But these, as I say, all these players are live now on Bet365 for goal scoring markets, pass markets, tackles, you name it, because that is the qualifier. Osimhen, is there, Harry Kane is there, De Bruyne still injured, isn't he? Paul Mullin for Wrexham. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go with my gut for this one, and we're going to go to Manchester City, and I believe this is becoming a to score or assist treble, because for this one I'm going to go Phil for 1.4. 1.4 Phil Foden, that's not great, is it? I do believe it will happen though if he starts, so let's go with it. Terrible odds. So this has become a score or assist. We looked at Adeyemi a moment ago, didn't we? 1.9 to score or assist. Foden 1.4 to score or assist. Let me know what you think about that one. I think the odds are really low, to be honest. But they are playing against a team that lost 5-1 to Celtic. Celtic beat City in pre-season, didn't they? So I mean, make of that what you will. Gyökeres to score or assist is a pretty good option most weeks of the year. 4.9 that gets us. So let me know what you think about that. And let me know what you think about the video. As I say, if you want to see one for tomorrow's games and then Thursday's games as well, so Europa League, Conference League, just let me know in the comments, like, subscribe, and if there is 500 likes on this video, I will do another one tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and as always, enjoy.